What if I told you that the Democratic Party's direction towards more open immigration and quote-unquote open borders policies has absolutely nothing to do with wanting cultural dominance from other countries? I will also be in the description of this video posting a link to an episode of the Infographics Show, which talks about the world's plunging fertility rates and how I'm going to explain how this ties into my subject on this particular subject. So take a look at that particular video. It'll be in the description, and the numbers will fascinate you. And I'm going to start by explaining to you what fertility rate is. Fertility rate is the number of live births per childbearing or fertile woman within a country. The replacement rate and fertility rate, the percentage needing to maintain a national or demographic population, is 2.1. So 2.1 births for every childbearing or fertile, hence fertility rate, woman is the minimum required to keep a population even. The United States is presently at 1.71. We are naturally losing population along with most of the rest of the world. And before you go, oh, it's like, oh, this is terrible, it's bad, I'm going to also add to say it's much worse elsewhere. South Korea and Japan have the lowest fertility rates in the world. They're at 0.98 and 0.99 respectively. So less than one child per woman, which of course a woman needs to have 2 children to replace both herself and her non-childbearing capable man. And 2.1 allows for things like infant mortality and things of that nature, where a child doesn't necessarily make it to adulthood. Hence the number is 2.1. The United States is at 1.71. The Eastern European nations are not much better. Lithuania and Latvia, which are the Baltic states, are barely at above 1.0. Basically, I think at 1.01 right now. And Poland is not doing much better. They're at 1.17. Germany is not doing much better either. They're at 1.3. You get further into Europe, you get into Ukraine, where it's 1.21. Theirs is low for rather obvious reasons. Obviously, when you've got people being killed by civilians being killed by Russian bombs, men being forced into war because of the Russian invasion, it's not looking good in mortality and the fertility rate there. Russia's actually worse, 1.26. And theirs is for the same reasons. And that being the war. And on both sides of that war, you've got men being killed who will also be, you're also eliminating the future parents and sending the demographic disaster snowballing down the road. Southeast Asia is just as bad. Thailand is barely at above 1.0. Cambodia and Vietnam are right along there with them. Their problems are a little bit different. Their problems are more similar to that of the other Asian countries such as South Korea and Japan, in that their women are highly educated and have opted not to have children because of pursuing their careers. And the thing it's bad in Thailand, but it's actually worse in Japan and South Korea, is cost of living. Incredibly ridiculously expensive to raise children in those economies. So their intention on having children. The Chinese, which is the country in between them, is not doing much better off. They're at around 1.4. China is probably taking the most aggressive approach to trying to deal with this demographic crisis, but immigration is not one of them. But they have thrown all sorts of financial incentives out there for families to have children. They're setting up speed dating events to try to encourage marriage and dating. They are government subsidizing child care centers and they have kind of an app that's kind of like an Uber for child care, where parents can order CCP or Chinese Communist Party subsidized babysitting for their children on an app. So China is the most aggressive in dealing with this, but the one route that they will not ever take. China is culturally a very homogeneous society, and a lot of those Asian countries are very similar. Most of the Asian continent is this way. They will not allow immigration to be their solution to this problem. The United States and the UK and much of Western Europe, on the other hand, have. Much to, in the case of Western Europe, their detriment, because that solution has brought all sorts of cultural problems, issues, and such. And this is the path that the Democrats in the United States have wanted to emulate. But here's the problem. The Democrats will never admit this publicly. It's pretty clear if you see the actions and you pay attention to the actions and what they're doing to know that this demographic crisis is the reason why they are so keen on open immigration. The United States birth and fertility rate, by the way, is 1.71. And as I've said before in my previous incarnation of this channel, out of the 50 U.S. states, only 3 have a birth rate that meet that 2.1 replacement rate. Take 2 seconds and guess in the comments which 3 those are. I've said it before. Got it yet? No? Okay, well, here they are. North and South Dakota and Utah. Utah's for rather obvious reasons, because they, are, I think, still a majority Mormon state. And that religion has always heavily encouraged large numbers of children and families. So in Utah, it's in the DNA. North and South Dakota, it kind of is too. But that was just more of a basic Christian traditionalist view in their families in smaller towns in the Dakotas. The one thing all 3 do have in common is very strong economies. In a stronger economy, families are going to be more encouraged to have children. The cost of living in North and South Dakota in particular is below the national average, but the incomes are well above the national average. In that particular environment, families are going to be encouraged to have children. Utah doesn't have an economy quite as robust, and the cost of living is a little bit higher, but still it's in their favor. So again, they're still going to be more encouraged to have children, and in Utah, the DNA of the state religiously encourages it. So that is the reason why the Democrats are so keen on open borders, because immigration is a potential solution to the demographic crisis. A shrinking population results in a very much a depressed economy. Just ask Russia, ask Vladimir Putin, he'll tell you. Or maybe he won't, since he doesn't like to tell the truth about much of anything these days. But I think the real reason why the Democrats would never admit this to being their reason for wanting to have a more open immigration policy, they don't want to create a MAGA baby boom. If they were to be open about this, they would probably create a conservative baby boom unintentionally. It's like, oh, you're going to solve the demographic problem this way. We'll solve it the natural way. Politically, for any party's future, that would never be good. I consider myself politically a centrist. I see plenty of blame to put on both major parties, but I also put most of the blame on social media itself, which monetizes strife, discord, disagreement, and conflict. So I'm looking at you, Elon Musk. You didn't build it on X because you bought it, but Zuckerberg, you built yours. And you're a billionaire because you created strife on your social media platform. You're a billionaire because of it. Because you created disagreement and strife and discord amongst the American public. Shame on you, Zuckerberg. But back to the original subject at hand here. This is the real reason why immigration is the design behind the left's open immigration policies. But they've also seen what has happened in countries like Britain and France with their open immigration policies, and the cultural discord and violence, to be straightforward, has been caused by it. So there's my balanced opinion on all of this. Take for what you will, love it or hate it. As long as you watch it, I don't care. Because that's what social media is about. So anyway, guys, enjoy your double Sunday header here. Starting to rain here. I was going to take my daughter to the big amusement park here in Minnesota today, but I'm not sure it's going to happen now. It's not thunderstorming yet, so I'm going to give it a shot. But anyway, you folks enjoy the rest of your Sundays, and peace out, homies.